Welcome to another episode of You Can't Make This Shit Up.
That's right.
I'm Joel Hoxley. This is David Washington, and we are your political innovators.
Yes.
We have a great show for you today. I'd like to thank Jay in Washington for producing this. Thank John for directing. There's so much that goes into these things, and we just had this hurricane scare that we went through. So,
we've got Hurricane Lee on its way.
Yeah, well, Lee's
Maybe.
my dad's is my dad's middle name, so that'll be okay.
There you go. All right. Let's set the stage here. Senator Rick Scott was praised for standing with President Joe Biden, while Governor Ron DeSantis was a no-show. President Biden came to Florida to assess the damage from Hurricane Idalia and gave DeSantis notice of his plan. This is customary. While no one denies DeSantis' efforts in terms of hurricane relief, this will be viewed as an issue. Joel and I will discuss all angles of this mysterious no-show right here on You Can't Make This Shit Up. Let's go.
Well, you can't make this shit up. They've already been together in a hurricane, so it's not like they haven't been there together in a natural disaster. Now, the thing is, what goes in to preparing for the president to come into a natural disaster is it's a lot of work. It's a lot of security. It's not like everybody thinks, oh, he just came down and he's really a human being and he's right there heart to heart with us. No, the people that are allowed to see him in the everything is staged. Everything is staged because you got to protect your president. It's not McKinley, So DeSantis figured that, it's going to be that way. He's also a candidate for president, so he's going to go where he feels that he can impact. And look, his arch enemy in the Republican Party, helped him out by going there and because you've seen them spar, Scott sparring with DeSantis.
Oh, that's his arch enemy.
Oh yeah,
Scott was there. Scott was all smiles and supportive, and more power to Rick Scott. He knows that business is politics, politics is business, optics is everything, perception, and to show that despite being on opposite ends of the political spectrum, that even in times of natural disasters and times of need and anxiety, that members of the opposite party, regardless of their differences, do have similarities and coming together when the public needs to see unity. It was a missed opportunity by DeSantis, particularly for a person who is on the national stage now, who is looking to become the GOP presidential nominee, someone who's been characterized as being offstandish, not friendly. This was a missed opportunity for the governor to show what Senator Rick Scott showed, that we can come together in times of need, and show a more personal, intimate side of himself. I just think that the governor missed a really good opportunity to display some of that bipartisanship cooperation.
David, have you taken a good look at the Republican Party lately?
Yes, I am. I'm enjoying the dumpster fire.
He honestly did not do anything that would not that would disturb his base. Okay, he didn't go. He did a good job. He continues to do a good job with hurricane relief and stuff. This was just he gets kudos in his party. He'll get kudos for he can stay with his role right now and his brand. So his brand is, look, I want this guy out of office. I don't want to help him out, but he did get the publicity that he wants. We're talking about him, right?
Right. He'll take the federal dollars in support of any kind of Hurricane Idalia relief. Again, and this is the short-sightedness of a lot of these campaigns. You're just looking at the base, at the Republican nomination process, and people who are not politicals like ourselves, people who are casual observers of politics. They want to see some type of cooperation amongst our leaders. And, looking beyond just the primary and the general election, this would look great to even for optics, even for social media, for the media, and he may get hit by his number one or number two, number three, number four by the other um, potential nominees for the GOP. Um, um, Election, whatever. And he is getting hit hard by Rick Scott, by Chris Christie. So he's damned if he did, damned if
Well,
he did
this
not.
is so what you're saying is Idalia comes in, destroys, you know, towards Tallahassee. I mean, this is the panhandle we're talking about. I mean, there's a tree that crashed and burned right there at the governor's mansion. And you're saying that Rick Scott is high and DeSantis is low, and that means that somewhere along the line, DeSantis is on the dirty side of this hurricane.
Well, from my point of view as a political, as someone who observes politics more than we do, more than the casual observer, the casual voter, whatever. I saw this as a plus, and I saw this as a character issue for DeSantis, for Rick Scott. Again, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a conservative. Um, I see Rick Scott going above and beyond to show that sometimes politics have to take a step back. Of course, this is a political move, of course. However, to show up, to show support for the president of these United States, regardless of his political affiliation, to be there with the president of these United States shows character, shows that he is serious about his constituents here in Florida, and he's serious about the efforts to help citizens, to help residents of Florida. And for the governor to not be with the president of these United States shows a lack of sensitivity. It showed a lack of insight. It showed a lack of character. And again, it showed that whoever is handling you, Governor DeSantis, get rid of him.
And they've all taken his money. I mean, the return on investment's not there. But David, this not. I don't see it that way. I see that. I do see the fact is it does take a lot of energy. It takes a lot to bring the president of the United States in, and especially in a disaster area. And the governor's out there actually working, and I'm not taking it.
Everyone is.
He's working now.
Everyone.
You want him to stop what he's doing, to come all the way over and spend time with the president when he's already done it. He's already done it in the past.
Yes. I want my leaders.
I don't want my leader
in a
there.
time of disaster.
No, I don't want
to
him there.
show that they are a team, that they are working together to resolve this
Listen,
issue.
I'm still the guy.
Whether the president goes to Florida, goes to Maui, goes to Ohio, I want to show that I want to see that everyone's on the same page.
So I
Optics mean everything.
I get the PR thing. I totally get it. But when look, George Bush got reamed for when it was for Katrina, and it's because he didn't go down on the ground right away. He observed it from above because he didn't want to get all that Secret Service, take all that that the people away from what needed to be done, and he got ridiculed. I mean, he got beat to hell on that.
I mean-
and yes, it could have come across better, but I think that I wish that the president had not gone into for the PR thing, go into FEMA and he was in FEMA, and you watch a bunch of people standing around doing absolutely nothing. But they're working. Don't get me wrong, they're working. But the president is in FEMA. He's in their office building, and people are not getting any work done. That's a distraction. Then he comes down here and he wants to stand and get a photo op. Look how long it took him to get to Maui. I mean, listen, you want to talk about being there, get there, do it.
Right.
I want him to,
Right.
but he takes his time on these things. I don't like the photo op, but
Right.
I understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
But I think that governor if the federal government is going to be in our state, then a federal official should be with them, and that's why I have no problem with the senator coming down.
Right.
Especially since he's going to get beat up. What they're going
Right.
to beat what they're going to beat him up for is
Mhm.
not because he got along with the president,
Right.
but the fact that he is running for office, and that will be what will be used against him.
And you may just to touch on George W. Bush, President Bush, just to touch on what you said about Hurricane Katrina and flying over New Orleans and seeing the damage. You have to give him kudos for that. I mean, he did the same thing flying over New York after the terrorist attacks. I remember seeing those photos in the video of him flying over New York, and he had the bullhorn, and he was talking to the citizens of New York from his airplane, from the bullhorn, and just being from just after a terrorist attack. It was dangerous for him to be there. We don't know if something else was going to happen. So I give him kudos for doing that from the airplane, using this bullhorn, letting the citizens of New York know that we're all together. We're all going to fight this terrorism.
Well, I mean, again, federal.
Hang on a second. Seriously, Joe.
I'm
Seriously,
gonna
Joe?
let you. I'm gonna let you embarrass
Seriously,
yourself.
he was flying over New Orleans,
I know.
where a bunch of black people were suffering.
Oh,
How insensitive was that?
it's not. Listen,
Insensitive.
insensitive.
So what if you're bringing a whole bunch of Secret Service, FEMA, U.S. Marshals?
You already had
the-
FEMA
the-
and everything
the-
in
the
there.
reserves, everything. But from a plane, come on.
So
Come on, the insensitivity of that whole image, that whole situation.
listen.
But it's
This is
okay
the
for him to be on the top of the rubble of the World Trade Center, after he was warned several times. The presidential daily briefing warned his ass that we were going to get hit. Oh, not Obama. Not Obama. Bin Laden said the imam who was taken from New York security prison and flown over the World Trade Center, he said, "We're not done yet." Bin Laden said, "We're not done yet." They telegraphed this, and this man sat in the what do you call it, White House West or something, on his ranch, and allowed this to happen. But he'll fly over New Orleans
but he went to New
and say,
Orleans.
"Good job, Brown."
Listen, he went to New
Come
Orleans.
on,
he went
Joel.
there. It's
That was
just,
so insensitive.
listen.
And that's the stuff that sinks and stays in the minds of
Democrats.
residents,
Because
of voters,
because
Democrats,
listen,
liberals, people who care.
okay, I don't care that the federal government has run out of FEMA money already. They haven't.
We'll print some more.
That's
That's
all you
what we
guys keep
do.
doing. That's why the
That's all.
inflation.
That's
But
what we do.
he
We'll print
just
more.
got inflation under control. He's It's just, I don't care what my governor is, as long as he's doing his job, and he did his job. He just didn't do it with the president. And you know what? I get you say the United States of America. Well, we're not united right now because we have so many people out there fighting about stuff like this. Listen, this election, it's bullshit. You can't get any worse. You got two old people leading the thing. Which one's going to get which elder is going to get this job. I mean, come on. Look, I get what you're saying about Bush, but listen, that
You
was a
brought him up.
different, yeah, but
You
that's a
brought
different
him up.
situation.
But you do have to hand DeSantis. He did a good job in his comments during the rally or the vigil in regards to the shootings in Jacksonville, and also his stellar comments made about the Nazis marching through Central Florida recently. You do have to hand it to Governor Ron DeSantis.
Well, if you get through that, if you can cut through that sarcasm, I guess you can get through anything. Listen, whether thank you, President, for finally coming to Florida instead of sending that vice president of yours. We're a little tired of her, so she probably left and brought this hurricane in here because all that hot air that she's been spilling in here. So let's go. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for coming.
Thank
Please
you.
keep Harris up there in freaking Washington. I mean, this is a person who was vice president, wasn't even in Europe yet.